Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at UFC 320 Ankalaev versus Pereira 2, the rematch. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to get right into it. Right after I ask you to like and subscribe. Look at this green screen. You have the power to fix this green screen. All you need to do is like and subscribe. Look at me. I'm fading in and out of reality. You can fix this. You can stabilize my timeline. Okay? And I will continue to bring you top quality content. First up, we've got Veronica Hardy versus Brogan Walker. Veronica Hardy coming off a loss. So is Brogan Walker. I think 2 losses for Brogan Walker. Really doesn't seem to be UFC caliber in my opinion, Brogan Walker. Veronica Hardy at least has a win in the UFC. So we're going to be going with Veronica Hardy. Probably a decision. This is women's flyweight after all. So let's move on to the next one. Veronica Hardy by decision. Next up, we've got Ramiz Brahimaj. Next up, we've got Ramiz Brahimaj versus Austin Vanderford. Austin Vanderford, again, too untested for me to pick. You know, unranked, making a debut. Not really for me. So we're going to be going with Ramiz Brahimaj, but I think really he's being fed a victory here. Again, just Vanderford just not really tested in my opinion at this level, and then being thrown in with Ramiz, it seems like they're giving Ramiz an easier fight. So we're going to be going with Ramiz. Welterweight, I'm liking a submission finish. So I'm going to go with Ramiz by submission. I think early in round 1. While they're nice and dry, you know, before they get a sweat on. So yeah, I'm going to go with Ramiz by submission. Next up, Punahele Sariano versus Nikolai Veretennikov. I think Veretennikov's biting off more than he can chew with this one. Veretennikov, a decent fighter in my opinion, not amazing but decent. I don't think he gets to the top 30. I guess that's where he's trying to break into, is the top 30. I don't think he's there yet. I don't even know how old he is off the top of my head, but he's definitely not top 30 material in my opinion. I think we're likely to see him get knocked out by Soriano, so we're going to be going with Punahele Sariano by knockout over Nikolai Veretennikov. On to the next one, Patchy Mix versus Jakub Wiklax. I like what they're doing with Patchy Mix. I like that we're on the prelims now. I like that we're not putting him right at the top to start with. That works for me. I like that. This is actually a really winnable fight for Patchy Mix. Patchy Mix should win this one very easily, actually. So we're going with Patchy Mix. I'm liking a TKO. So I want to go Patchy Mix by TKO. Ground and pound, you know. Yeah, I want to go Patchy Mix by TKO. This is a very winnable fight. He's being given a very winnable fight to kind of build himself up inside of the UFC, rather than just having him come in from the outside and fighting top level competition. So, and this is a good thing for him. So yeah, I want to go with Patchy Mix. I'm thinking TKO. Next up, we've got Macy Chinnison versus Yana Santos. I'm going to be going with Chinnison. Again, this is women's bantamweight. It's going to go to a decision. But Macy Chinnison, obviously not perfect as a fighter. Some losses on the records. Is a little bit more consistent than Yana Santos, in my opinion. So yeah, I want to go with Macy Chinnison, likely by decision. Yeah, confident with that one. Macy Chinnison by decision. Next up, we've got Daniel Santos versus Ju Sang Yu. I'm going with Ju Sang Yu, and I'm going with Ju Sang Yu by knockout. Daniel Santos, decent opponent, a good test for him. I'm on the Ju Sang Yu Zombie Junior, you know, hype train. Even though they don't really fight alike, but you know, he got the nickname, so we'll take it. Yeah, I'm on the hype train for Ju Sang Yu, so we're gonna ride with it. Ju Sang Yu by knockout over Daniel Santos. I'm confident in that one. I like this one. I like that pick a lot. Next up, we've got Farid Basharat versus Chris Gutierrez. I'm going with Basharat. I think he's leagues leagues better than Gutierrez. I mean, we'll see. This is going to go to a decision. I think it goes to a decision. It's going to be a pretty boring fight, to be honest with you. I think there's going to be a lot of respect for one another. But yeah, Farid Basharat, in my opinion, a fair bit better than Chris Gutierrez. So I think we're going to be going with Farid Basharat to get the win. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Farid's an underdog in this one. No, he's a heavy favourite. Of course he's a heavy favourite. Well, there you go then. There's not even any money to be made there. Farid Basharat's probably gonna beat Gutierrez. Probably by decision. So yeah, Farid Basharat by decision. That's my pick. Next up, we've got Edmund Shabazian versus Andre Muniz. I'm going to be going with Shabazian. I like Shabazian. Heavy hands, okay grappling, decent grappling. Andre Muniz, been around a while, lots of experience, a decent opponent for Edmund Shabazian. Still sticking with Edmund. Method of victory. I could see a TKO. I could see a TKO from Edmund Shabazian over Andre Muniz. Muniz is harder to put away. But no, I like Shabazian by TKO. So we're going to go Edmund Shabazian by TKO over Andre Muniz. I just feel like the holes in Muniz's game haven't really been patched, and he's been on it for a while now. And if they haven't been patched yet, they're not going to be, and that means they're going to be exploitable, especially by the likes of Shabazian. So we're going to go with Edmund Shabazian. I like a TKO. So Edmund Shabazian by TKO. Next up, we've got... Pardon me. Next up, we've got Atabek Gautier? Atabek Gautier versus Trayshawn Vines. I'm going to go with Atabek. Got a ranking again. Vines, just I don't know enough about him. Hasn't been tested enough at this level. Whereas, I know that Atabek. There's no K there. Ataba is gonna go swinging. He's gonna go out swinging. And provided he doesn't gas, he's probably gonna get the win. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Ataba. Let's take a deeper look, a deeper dive into this one. Let's see what the records are. Refresh my memory. See, Robert Valentin, that's an okay win. Yeah, decent win. Don't know your Naito, so can't comment. Yeah, I'm happy with my pick. Yeah, I'm going with Ataba, probably. Yeah, I'm going with Ataba to beat Trayshawn Vines. Trayston Vines, even. Probably a decision, I'm not going to lie. I feel like Ataba probably does enough to win 1 and 2. And maybe just kind of lets off the gas. I don't know why, I've got a weird feeling that even though this one's kind of being set up to be a finish, it's going to be a boring fight. And it's going to go to a decision. So yeah. Which I suppose my favourite Vines, because that's fucking gas. Nonetheless, we're going with Ataba. You know what? We're going to go with Ataba by TKO. I reckon he catches him. Yeah, why not? Ataba Gautier by knockout. By TKO. On to the next one. We've got Joe Pyfer versus Abus Magomedov. Abus, pretty decent fighter, pretty decent scrapper. On his comeback, I think. On a comeback trail. Yeah, 3 wins on a comeback trail over decent opponents as well. Bruno Ferreira. I'm not surprised he finished them. Michel Pereira, pretty decent opponents as well. A nice on a comeback streak. Joe Pyfer doing the same. Honestly, I'm gonna go with Abus Magomedov. Joe Pyfer's good. He's tough. I think again holes in his game that just aren't being addressed, and I feel like they're going to be exploited by a fighter the caliber of Abus Magomedov. Sure he didn't win, but he went toe to toe with Sean Strickland and had flashes of success in that fight. Joe Pyfer not on the level of someone like Sean Strickland in my opinion. So Abus Magomedov, likely to get close to a title shot again in Abus. So yeah, I'm picking Abus Magomedov. I reckon TKO over Joe Pyfer. I think Joe Pyfer gets caught and gets finished, and that's another setback for Joe Pyfer. But I think that's the way it's going to go down. So yeah, I'm going to go with Abus Magomedov by TKO. I just think he'll catch him. I really do. I just think he'll catch him. On to the next one. Josh Emmett versus Yusuf Zalal. Now, you know I have strong feelings about Yusuf Zalal, and I can tell you that they're going to play a part in my prediction. I think Yusuf Zalal is going to win this fight, much to my dismay, and I think it's going to be a win by decision. And I think Yusuf Zalal does enough to get his points on the scorecards for each round, and then runs away for the entire fight. Josh Emmett, a powerful puncher, a guy who can cut off the cage, not going to be as fast as Yusuf Zalal, not as young as Yusuf Zalal, and Yusuf's just going to play to that agility, and I think he's just going to be jabbing away and just being out of range the entire fight, and he's going to frustrate Emmett. Emmett might have some success towards the end of the rounds once Zalal slows down a little bit, but Zalal's got good recovery. He's going to be as fast as he was in the first round at the start of every other round. And he will slow down as the round goes on, and that will leave openings. I just don't think it's going to be enough for Emmett to capitalise on. So yeah, Yusuf Zalal likely going to win this by decision. That's the problem with Yusuf Zalal. Zalal has the ability to finish fights, but he just plays it so safe that they end up boring. Unfortunately, because I was a fan of Yusuf Zalal for a good while, and then I was kind of like, this guy's playing it too safe. We can get some good finishes here, but we're just playing it super, super safe. And I've kind of gone off him just based on his fighting style. So yeah, but Yusuf Zalal by decision is what I'm thinking over Josh Emmett. Yeah, Yusuf Zalal by decision. On to the next one. Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Roundtree. A banging matchup. A great fight. I actually don't know. This is a tough one for me to pick. I want to pick Yuri Prochazka based on the toughness and the wild card factor. But Khalil Roundtree, probably equally as tough, if not tougher. I mean, Yuri Prochazka, one of the few guys not to be like absolutely chinned and knocked out cold by Alex Pereira, and Khalil Roundtree is the only other guy who didn't like just get absolutely like slept and thinking. Yuri Prochazka's like getting chinned and then jumping up, or getting chinned and surviving the round. That's his toughness right there. Khalil Roundtree went toe to toe with Alex Pereira. Pereira doesn't say says he wasn't a peak physical condition, wasn't his healthiest. Nonetheless, Khalil Roundtree goes toe to toe with Alex Pereira, tooth and nail, suffers a lot of damage, takes an absolute beating. Don't get me wrong, but grits through it. So both guys ridiculously tough. Khalil Roundtree's defenses a lot better. Sure, he got banged up by Pereira, like absolutely mauled by Pereira, but you've got to consider that was a mauling over 5 rounds through his defense, whereas Yuri is the guy who's getting knocked down by these shots and like barely surviving, and fair enough was coming back and fighting his heart out, but not having the same level of success as Roundtree. And Roundtree's level of success, by the way, isn't like, oh, he was beating up Pereira. He had moments where he was landing back on Pereira, but the majority of the time was just him covering up and waiting for the storm to end, and the storm never ended. And by the end of it, he was beaten pretty badly. He was in a pretty bad way. It was one of those fights where you're like, oh man, he took a beating. His nose was destroyed from that fight. So it'll be interesting to see if we're talking strategically. I think Khalil Roundtree is probably the more strategic fighter, probably the more technical fighter, and probably the more defensively sound fighter. But you've got to remember, this is Yuri Prochazka, and Yuri Prochazka is a bit crazy, and it's kind of like, remember when you were in school and you read Romeo and Juliet and you learned about Mercutio, and Mercutio wasn't as well trained as some of the other sword fighters, but he was just crazy enough to keep up with them and sometimes best them. That's a bit like a Yuri Prochazka, just a crazy dude that might not have the skill level, might not have the experience, but he's determined, and sometimes that's enough. And for Yuri Prochazka, that seems to be enough a lot of the time, sitting at number 3, right? So it is a tough one for me to pick. I'm going to go with Khalil Roundtree. I think Khalil Roundtree wins a decision, and I think that Yuri Prochazka has the potential to knock him out. Of course he does, but I think Khalil Roundtree's defense is too strong. Like, he'll get caught by shots, but they'll be negated a lot by his guard and his movement, rolling with the shots and whatnot. Whereas Yuri, I think he'll take the damage and he'll wear it a lot worse than Khalil. He won't be able to push through as much, you know. Yeah, despite trying, not to say it's not his determination. I just think physically Khalil Roundtree is a lot tougher and can take a lot more punishments and keep moving. So I'm going to go with Khalil Roundtree. I could see it going to a decision for Khalil Roundtree, to be honest with you. I can see this being a tough fight for both guys, but as much as I'm a Yuri Prochazka fan, I've got to go with Khalil Roundtree, likely by decision. Yeah, Khalil Roundtree by decision over Yuri Prochazka. That is with the caveat that I do think Yuri could actually catch him and put him out, TKO finish, catch him with a shot and follow him to the ground, finish it up there. That is a high possibility for Yuri Prochazka. He only needs to land that one good shot, but likewise, so does Khalil Roundtree. He needs to land one good shot, and being more defensively sound than Yuri Prochazka, it's more likely Khalil lands that shot, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going to go with Khalil Roundtree Jr. by decision. I think it goes to a decision. In a pretty decent back and forth. I think it'll be entertaining as well. I think it'll be good to watch. You see Yuri doing some goofy stuff. It's one of those fights where Yuri's going to get to do some goofy stuff. Right? I don't think Khalil's going to be able to put him out in one shot. So Yuri's going to be able to mess around and do Yuri Prochazka things. I digress. On to the next one. Merab Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen. I'm going with Merab. I've got to go with Merab. The man doesn't get tired. He doesn't relent. He is a force to be reckoned with. He is a creature. He's a goblin. I maintain. So my grandmother, right? My grandmother. I told this story last time he was fighting. My grandmother had this garden gnome. The best garden gnome in the entire cul-de-sac for you Americans. Everyone loved this garden gnome. One day, it went missing. And since then, this guy Merab Dvalishvili winning all of his fights, So personally, I think the Garden Gnome managed to make it to the UFC, and he looks the exact same, So yeah, I'm gonna go with Merab, the Garden Gnome, my nan's Garden Gnome. He used to be out there fishing by the ponds, and now he's up there winning belts and defending them. So we're gonna go with Merab. Merab decision seems most likely. Merab just kind of he's a decision merchant, let's be honest, but he can finish fights as well. I think he just likes to drag them out. So yeah, we're going to go with Merab by decision. I think Corey Sandhagen's going to get overwhelmed and just weighed on by the grappling, and he will break. I don't think he's got the grappling to stand up to Merab. So yeah, I think Merab's going to destroy Corey Sandhagen. It's going to be a dismantling of the Sandman, which is a shame. But it's Merab, What do you expect? I think Merab's going to be a champion for a good little while now. And finally, the main event, Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira. A tough matchup for me to call. It's a tough matchup, a really tough matchup for me to call. I went into the first fight thinking, yeah, man, Pereira's going to win this easy. Magomed Ankalaev, sure he's good, sure he's tough, but he's not going to be able to withstand the power of Pereira. And then the fight happens, and Pereira just couldn't get going. Ankalaev was beating him to the jab, he was beating him with the kicks, he was controlling the distance better. It was a bit of it turned heads. Not as much grappling heavy, not very grappling heavy either. Like, expected it to be more grappling heavy, and in the moments, he out-kickboxed Alex Pereira. And didn't need to rely on the grappling to do it. So, very interesting. Pereira maintains that he was not 100% going into that fight. Pereira defending on short notice, constantly putting on banging fights to save events. Maybe he needed the recovery time. Now he's had that recovery time. We're going to see, can he rectify what went wrong in the last fight? I think the issues are easy to address, We could put them down to an injury if that's the case. I think we just need to be faster. Pereira just needs to be faster to the shots, and he needs to be more confident in the shots. And that's tough because Ankalaev can put you out in a shot. Like, he's one of those guys that can actually front kick you and knock you out, can just chin you and put you out. He's a tough guy, and he hits hard. I think less respect is the secret for Pereira. To be honest with you, I think there was too much respect in the first fight. There was too much respect of Ankalaev's power and his speed. Pereira just needs to let it go more, and I think he will find the success. The opportunities were there, he just didn't take them, which is why I kind of buy into the injury theory. But it remains to be seen. Obviously, Ankalaev can grapple as well. That would be interesting to see. I don't know if Pereira can really stand up to the grappling of Ankalaev at all in the long run. I think it just wears down on him. But then again, that's the majority of Pereira's fights, is that if it comes down to grappling, he probably doesn't do too well. It's a tough one. A really tough one. I do struggle. I really do. I'm gonna go with Alex Pereira. Despite my better judgments, I kind of feel like Ankalaev's gonna win it, and I think he's gonna win it by a finish. I think he's gonna TKO or submit Pereira. To be honest with you, which would be a shame. No more Sharma. And Pereira looking a lot more human now after losing. Like, yeah, he got knocked out by Izzy. Sure, he got knocked out by Izzy, and that was like a hit to the aura, but it wasn't really a hit to the aura. Like, it was kind of one of those situations where, with the kickboxing and then into the UFC, it was one of them scenarios where it was like, yeah, well, 9 out of 10 times Alex Pereira beats Izzy. We just see in the 10th time. But I think Magomed Ankalaev, the Magomed fight for Pereira was like, oh, okay, there are a few things that I need to address. I need to not be worried about these grappling exchanges. I need to, know when these are being faked and whatnot, or feinted. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to address for Pereira, and it kind of made him seem more human than when he got knocked out cold by Izzy. So make of that what you will. It's interesting to see in the fight where he got knocked out, he got caught and he got knocked out. That was less damaging to his aura than a fight where it was kind of more drawn out and more, I don't want to say technical, but definitely more drawn out. It was definitely very hesitant and very drawn out. Like, what's this guy going to do? What's he got planned? And I think that just did ruin the pace and didn't really let Pereira get going. Hopefully those issues have been addressed. Hopefully he's coming in healthy, because I'm picking Alex Pereira, and I'm picking Alex Pereira to win by knockout. All that aside, I do think Pereira's got absolute power in those hands, and if he lands a shot, he's probably going to put Ankalaev on skates, at least, and then at most he's going to knock him clean out. But I think it's going to take more than one shot to finish Ankalaev. I think we're going to be looking for combinations. We're going to be looking for 3 and 4 shots, 3 and 4 strikes. Maybe get him opening up with the first 2 and finishing him off with the second 2. Who could say? But yeah, I'm going to go with Alex Pereira by knockout. And I'm going to be very disappointed if that doesn't happen. Until next time, keep your chin down and keep swinging. Peace and love. I'll see you around.